In this particular video section, I'll be discussing the concepts of how to identify what you find on strategic zoom. I would like to stress that you should try and spend as much time in strategic zoom as possible, purely because it gives you the best, overview of the entire theatre of battle right now. But at the beginning, it can be quite a headache to recognize everything that you might see. But in general, you still have rules that I have stressed in the previous sections. Ground units will be diamonds, structures, squares, and aircraft, or things which are in the sky, will be triangles. You still get this. Structures are squares, aircraft are triangles, and units are basically neither of the above. It is also worth stressing at this point that experimentals are a circle. A big, fat circle with nothing on them, and it's basically quite attention grabbing to state, this thing is dangerous, you should probably pay attention to it. Anyway. The other thing at a glance is the tech level of said unit. Once you have it on your radar and have seen it, will be stated underneath said icon. So for instance, power generator like this has 3 of these little white bits underneath it. Tech 1 PD is not surprisingly Tech 1, has 1 icon beneath it. Shields, or at least this type of shield, is Tech 2, so it has 2 beneath it. That is basically it, really. Assault bots have an X. Normal bots are a plus, and tanks are also a plus, actually, but they are diamond, and bots are this hexagonal shape. Tech 3 anti-air is this type of upside down U, and you will get to know this as time goes on. It is at this point that I will also stress what radar and Omni does. As you see here, this is the Omni range. It is the brown circle. You also find it upon your ACU. Omni radar, Tech 3 structure. If we zoom out, you see it's a radar structure. It has 3 icons underneath it. Has the Omni radar, which is the inner ring only, and the outer radar, which functions as normal radar, which means it can be defeated by stealth. And as you see here, as units enter the Omni range, they lose their stealth because it's defeated by Omni radar. The range of the Omni on Omni radar is the same as a normal Tech 2 radar. The other caveat about this is that Omni also functions as sonar. So Omni radar is needed to defeat all types of counter intel. It'll counter stealth, it'll counter jamming, it'll counter cloaking. But its range is limited, and of course its power consumption is not insignificant. At the moment it has reduced power cost, but mainly because it's stuck next to 2 Tech 3 power generators. Again, this is not shielded. One random bomb and it'll go and snuff the big one. As time goes on, you will learn to identify structures and icons and their units by just experience, really. No one expects you to be able to tell at a glance what everything is, but you should be able to tell numbers. For instance, in this situation, you can probably tell there's a lot of units up here, there's not much to defend with, you're probably going to have to fall back. Other things that you should get into the habit of is scouting the enemy opponent. Well, that's pretty much exactly the same thing, but yeah. Scout your opponent, and then you'll be able to have a look at their base. At a glance, you then should be able to tell what they're up to. For instance, as time goes on, you'll be able to spot structures such as SMD and mark them, or vice versa from the other perspective. This is the importance of scouting. This was built because these players are very experienced and they simply expect such things such as nuclear missiles to be in play. He did not actually scout. This was the fact. This was in fact the case. There are other tips that you can use, but I will cover this in the advanced
Strategic
tutorial.
launch detected.
And normally, if you hear that sound, it's generally time to run away unless you are covered by SMD. And if you are covered by SMD, please make sure A, it's loaded, and B, it's actually still there. If not, time to head for the hills, ladies and gentlemen.